Welcome to this recording about selling successfully with me, Terry Elston. On this recording, you'll be taking into the steps that are necessary for any sale to take place. The beauty of the model I'm going to show you is that you will always know where you are in the sale. And you'll never have to move to one step unless you've completed the step beforehand. In fact, the sale would never work if you haven't completed the steps preceding the sixth step all the way towards the end. So that's beautiful because it means that you'll always be able to create and maintain rapport with your client and never move towards the sale, the close of the sale, unless you fulfill the preceding steps. Now, the notion of selling comes from the word Selje, which is very old Norwegian, which originally meant to serve. So if you're in the profession of selling, you're actually in the profession of serving. Now that's a little reframe for you there that I'd like to put in there. Now, in the 21st century of selling, that's where we are going to go. Now, I'm thinking before this, it was all about, come on, let's just grab some sales. Doesn't matter if the person gets served or not. But moving into this 21st century model, I think it's going to be essential that you are serving people and also for your own health and well-being as well. It's a little bit like being Father Christmas. I think you're going to live a little longer, love a little longer, and be more healthy if you feel like you've given somebody something that they really want and they really need. And we'll get into that a little bit later. Yeah, what I wanted to broach here before that was also about your inner world of selling. Because you will come across all these ideas about selling, the 12-step sales and the 24 ways to make your brain better at selling and all those things. And they're all about the outside world. And we are going to give you these tips and tricks to make these things work for you. Yet your inner world is normally the presider about whether you are going to be successful with sales or not. So make sure as much as you can that your inner world is cleaned up, your inner game of selling is cleaned up as much as possible. I'm talking about limiting beliefs in there. I'm talking about old memories that have old negative connotations to them, so that the garden that you're working with is clear enough for the seeds of your thoughts of success to be planted and grow a tremendous forest of wealth for yourself. So that inner game there is very important because that's the energy that you come towards your clients with, and they will pick up on that. Now, there are other products out there and other workshops that you can do, but I'm just putting that up front because it's not all about these tips and tricks. So bearing that in mind, let me give you a brief example of a metaphor that happened to me a few years ago. I was in America and there was a guy there, one of the top lawyers there in America, very prominent, and he'd heard something about the work that I was doing. He wanted to see me and talk to me. So we had a chat about what he wanted to have happen, because obviously there was some potential business going to be happening there. So I was asking him questions about his life. It's very relaxed. And he told me, he confided in me that he couldn't see himself living further than his daughter's 12th grade. There was a little murmur in his heart, just couldn't see that happening. And also, he wanted to be able to ride his bicycle at least 15 miles. There were his goals. He was very clear about that. And I said to him, okay, what's it worth for you to be able to do that? What's that worth to you? And he opened up his checkbook and he said, look, here's a blank check. Just name your figure. So the first thing we're going to look at is what had to be apparent to make that happen, to make somebody say something like that. What's the very first thing that had to be there in place for that context to appear? Well, confidence, obviously, and trust, absolutely. For somebody to say or be able to say something like that, there has to be this cornerstone of what we're going to begin with here: confidence and trust. In NLP, we've got a terminology for that whole thing, which is called rapport. So step number one we're going to look at in these 6 steps that we're going to roll out for you here is the notion of rapport. And
Sample complete. Ready to continue?